Okay, good evening, and this is one video that has been requested by my students, so let's just get started. All right, I'm showing you right now in the screen that on the left hand side we have the color image, which is where we're starting from, and on the right hand side we have a black and white conversion that has been edited, retouched, if you will, whatever. Notice that we have a whole pile of spots on the color image and speckles and dust and scratch marks and all this kind of stuff, and on the black and white version we do not have all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I know that if we're to take the clone stamp tool, or if you're going to take the healing brush and the patch tools and all that kind of stuff, you could probably do a decent job of getting rid of all of the dust and scratch marks and all that kind of nonsense. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the dust and scratch filter in conjunction with the history panel to clean up 85% of this image in about 2 minutes. And then we can spend another minute or two kind of finessing things, getting more of the picky, stubborn little dust and scratch spots out of this, and move along. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the things to do, but then I'm not going to have you watch me do every little step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to my grayscale image and see if I can go through the history states just to pull back, and so you can see what it looks like after each step. Okay, that's fantastic. So now that we have this guy sitting here, normally I'd want to zoom in and see a greater area here, or at least see this at a greater magnification. But what I'm going to do is see if I can get away with doing it at this point in time. All right, so I'm going to bring up, no, actually I think I'm going to just zoom in at 100% and scroll this up to here. Look at all this crap that's sitting inside this file. I'm going to go into the filter menu, and we're going to come down to the noise filter and go to dust and scratches. Alrighty then. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to use this at a value of 4 and 12 to get rid of that. If I click on the preview button here, you'll see that, oh, look at all that crap that's sitting in there. And now when I click on that, we seem to get rid of all this stuff. How did I come up with these values here? Well, let's put this down to 0. And I'm going to take this radius down to 1. So just at a 1 value, all right, we can see that we're starting to get rid of some of this stuff. I just click my cursor inside the radius input field and tap the up arrow key, keeping my eye on the document. And I've come up to 3. 3 gets rid of most of this, and generally what you want to do is get rid of most of stuff, but not go too far. The stubborn ones, like I say, we can get rid of later on separately. All right, so now this kind of looks good, and I'm just going to go one more for good measure. Okay, so now I've blurred this to the point that I'm content with it, but I'm not happy with what's going on over here in this detail and all that kind of stuff. So what I need to do is play with the threshold value and raise that up to a point where I'm happy with the blur still that's going on over here, and I've got some decent detail still left over in this area here. So for the first round of filtering, all right, I'm going to be quite happy with this. So I just click on that, and I've actually now got this thing set in the blur. And I know you're looking at this and you're saying, oh, it looks like crap and everything else. I'm going to come over here to my history panel, come over here and click on this, and you can see that I've got this guy coming along here. What I'm going to do is come down to the bottom of my history panel, and I'm going to click on the camera icon, and I'm going to name this one D and S space dash space 4 for the first value I inputted, and 12 for the second one. And then I'm going to click OK. Now that I have that set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have the history brush selected over here, and I'm going to come over and I'm going to first of all click on the open state to take me back to the crap. I don't know why this says history brush. I must have clicked on it or something like that, and it recorded the state. And now I have to set the source of the history brush to the dust and scratches layer. What I'm also going to do now is with the history brush, make sure that the blend mode is set to darken and the opacity is at 100%. In the area here, the background, I am going to use a very, very large brush to kind of clean this up really, really quickly. All right, and as I get closer to the edges of Sammy, I'm going to use a much smaller brush. But in the nondescript background areas that I have going on here, I can just come in and paint away just like that. All right, so there are some stubborn areas. We'll tend to those a little bit later on, but for the most part, I can get rid of this. I'm just going to use my bracket keys to reduce my brush size. Come in here and get this, and coming down, doing this kind of paint, paint, paint. All right, come in here, get this stuff. I'm just going to go over the big broad areas here during the recording, and then what I'll do is I'll show you the other areas. So just come in and start doing this. Yeah, you got it. Just come